SubhanAllah, if you look at the Quran, you'll see a lot of it covers the story of Musa alayhi salam, and you can say about 40% of the Quran is Musa. And it's very interesting. See, these stories that existed at that time, they didn't just exist for entertainment. God didn't surface them in the Quran, in his short book, just for us to look at and say, oh wow, that was a really cool story. No, these stories existed for us to extract the wisdom, the morals, the lessons, the ibar, the hikam, the maw'idah from these stories and apply them to our lives today, to give us a better perspective of what is going on in our situation, our circumstances, and our surroundings. You see, because the evils that existed then, they still exist today. The people that existed then who committed those evils, they exist today. All of it still exists. It's just manifested differently. Different players, but the same game. So if we look at one of the stories, subhanAllah, ya akhi, when Allah told Musa alayhi salam and his brother to go back to Pharaoh and call him to come to Islam and to release the people of Israel, right? The Bani Israel from their slavery. Musa goes in. Now you need to understand the context here. It's not just some guy walking in to Pharaoh. It's like, you need to understand who's Pharaoh. What was Musa's context in this situation, right? Musa, before he goes back, he murdered somebody. And he wasn't just anybody. He was a cop killer. He murdered one of the soldiers of Pharaoh, right? Accidentally, a long time ago. And after that, he escapes the town, and now he's a fugitive, and he's on the run, and he leaves for several years. He goes to Midian, and he stays there, and he gets married, and so forth. And that's the rest of the story. And now God's telling him to come back and go talk to Pharaoh himself. Right? And you're the most wanted man in town. You need to understand that he's walking into the city and everybody hates him. All the cops, he's a cop killer. Nobody's going to like him. Everybody hates him. And he's walking up there with his head held high, and he goes straight to the court. And in that court now you have Pharaoh wal Mala. Pharaoh and his wazirs, his ministers, all the top echelon of society are sitting there. And they're looking at him. And he comes up and he says, Pharaoh, you need to come back to Allah. Leave all this nonsense, your kufr, your disbelief, and you need to let the people of Bani Israel go. You need to let the Israelites free. So these are the two demands, right? And Pharaoh comes back to him, and it's very interesting. This is a psychological trick that was played by Pharaoh that still gets applied today. Obviously, in any conversation, people will do this. If you talk to them about something that's intense, something that they're not comfortable with, they will try to shift the conversation, deviate it, take you off your track so that you no longer focus on this one thing, right? And so this is what he tells him. He's telling him to come to Allah and to free Bani Israel. Pharaoh replies. He doesn't say no. He says, وَفَعَلْتَ فَعَلَتَكَ الَّذِي فَعَلْتُهَا. And he's like, and you did that thing. He doesn't say what it is. He's holding power back, right? He's saying, and you did that thing. He's like, me and you know the secret. I know who you are from the past. You did that thing. And he's referring to the murder. And remember that? What about that, huh? He's shifting the conversation entirely. And so Musa is aware of this. SubhanAllah, very, very intelligent man. He's aware of the trickery that he's trying to do and deviate the conversation and shift, let's talk about something else. And he just shuts it up. He's like, وَفَعَلْتُهَا إِذًا وَأَنَا مِنَ الضَّالِّينَ. And I did it. That's right. I did it back in the time, and I was misguided. Now come back to this. You need to become a Muslim, and you need to let them go. SubhanAllah, very intelligent. He doesn't even give it time. He doesn't just give it the whatever. He's like, okay, look, you know what? No, we're not going to talk about it. Yeah, I did it. Great. Come back to this. Now what do you want? SubhanAllah. So you have conversations today when you get into an argument or a debate or you're discussing something that may be a little controversial, people will try to adjust the conversation to something that's more known to them, something they're more comfortable with. So you need to be aware of these tricks when someone's talking to you. And we can take this ibrah, SubhanAllah, from this beautiful chapter and the beautiful story and apply it to our lives today. Barakallah feekum. Salam.